you guys. Whenever I go to record, I feel like my hair is always crazy. So I'm coming at you from my dog sitting place right now, looking after a really cute husky. It's been a minute, so I just wanted to try and catch you guys up on what's going on. I'll be honest, I had like a couple life updates in my drafts, and they were more from like late winter. Like, it wasn't really anything substantial. A lot has happened since then. One of the big things this year was going to Southern California, where I went to my work headquarters for the first time. That was a really awesome experience, and I went to Universal Studios. So I was actually at my friend's house in Southern California on her birthday when I found out that my surgery, not only was it recommended that I go through with the surgery, but that it was getting bumped up a month in advance. And I even had the option to do like a month and a half, but I just thought like I need a little bit of time to prepare. So I took them up on the offer to take the cancellation that popped up a month earlier than we had planned it. So I want to say it was like scheduled for May 17th originally, and we were like tentatively going to decide on for sure doing it later. And then it got moved to like April. When I realized that like surgery was really going to happen, things kind of started to shift a little bit. The life priorities were shifting. Part of the reason that I wanted to do it was because I turned 26 in May, and I wasn't sure, like, now that I'm on Medi-Cal, I wasn't sure how useful Medi-Cal was going to be for having surgery and like recovery kind of stuff, potentially going back into physical therapy and whatnot. So far, Medi-Cal has been great. The only issue post-surgery I've had with Medi-Cal is that they don't like the birth control that I was on before, and so they have me on a new one now. It's got me feeling a little bit loopy and just a little extra everything and not quite myself. So I have to kind of try some stuff on their recommended lists before we can submit some evidence to them that I need to go back on the one that was working just fine before. Insurance, so fun. But yeah, anyways, so had the surgery in April. Everything went well except for I guess they nicked or scratched up my uterus and they had to stitch it back together. One of those things that's like, well, that's some things like that can happen during surgery. But I mean, she says that like the surgeon showed me a picture of it and said that she fixed it and it should heal up just fine. They found a very small amount of something, and actually after I woke up from the surgery, I was super groggy, so I remembered having to ask multiple times like what happened. The message that I got was they found a little bit of some abnormal tissue. They were going to do a biopsy and just see, but they don't think it's endometriosis. And the biopsy actually came back positive for endometriosis. So it's just lucky that they didn't find very much, and hopefully like they didn't miss a big spot or something, because the surgery was more of like a lower exploratory thing. So yeah, I got the stage 1 endometriosis diagnosis, which is like sort of like, yay, now we know what's wrong with me, and it's also like, boo, endometriosis. I did the surgery because I wanted answers, and I got my answer. I guess I can't complain too much. It could be worse. I took about 2 weeks off of work for surgery. The first couple of days were just like atrocious. so difficult, sleeping so much. Mobility-wise, I was able to do quite a lot early on, in terms of just like getting around the house. I had my walking sticks out just in case I needed them, and I never actually ended up using them. I was just kind of like, for that period of time, I was feeling really spaced out from the pain meds and just getting tired really easily, and of course like the lingering pain from recovery. But I did take some of that time to work in Logic a little bit, work on some of my own demos. I had the free trial of Logic and I still have yet to buy it, but I think I am going to go through with that. Learning that skill has been really awesome for me because I've been curious about it for so long, and I think for a while I found it so overwhelming, and having started to tackle it a little bit in February and leading into the spring, like as a writer, it can be overwhelming, but it can also be like very empowering to have that as part of my toolkit now. And there have been times where I've had song ideas and put them straight into Logic and get to kind of experiment with them right away rather than just focusing on lyrics and chords. Getting to play around with the sound and other instrument parts is so fun. I'm excited for you guys to hear some of that stuff, and I'm going to do part 2 because I'm already hitting the 10-minute limit. So yeah, that and the other fun thing I got into in surgery recovery was Pinterest, which is maybe good and bad. I was kind of like playing around with making a Pinterest board for my album. I got lost in that rabbit hole for so long. Wow, I forgot how inspiring and important imagery is in my process. I have like general ideas of like visualizers or lyric videos and like possibly some music video ideas, but definitely like I'm not super experienced with that kind of stuff, so I'm definitely going to be looking for some help with that at some point. Right now, the big update with music is I actually heard back from the original producer I reached out to last year. I want to say October of 2023. I sent him an email with all the first drafts of all the songs I was considering for the album, and it turned out that he had a lot of projects on his plate and some more urgent things came up, and he wasn't able to start working on it until this spring. But I got home from Stanford from my surgery, and I heard from him literally the day after surgery, which in my I jumped for joy as much as I could in that current state that I had been in. That definitely boosted my spirits and gave me something to look forward to. So he had me pick 2 songs for him to get started on, and so I don't want to say too much about the album because I want it to be a surprise. Some of the songs you will have already heard, some of them you'll be going in fresh. Even though it was a long wait, I think it will be worth it. I'm super stoked to work with Ethan and just get his brain on these songs and see what he comes up with. That and I just know the very beginner basics of Logic, so I don't know how to mix and master. So both of those first 2 songs that I sent him are mid-progress. It's moving slowly, and because he has other projects on his plate. I've been working on lots of other things. I should say shortly after I returned back from surgery, I had been on a contract. I was initially hired by this company a little over a year ago now, and I was hired on as temporary, and they just kind of kept renewing my contract again, and never really promised anything permanent, but it was good experience for me, for my resume and my learning and all that. So This most recent contract just ended on June 30th. I found out at the beginning of June that they had made the decision to not renew me for, I guess, what would have been probably the fourth time or so. Honestly, I think has worked out for the best. I ended up getting COVID in mid-June, and having that happen while I wasn't totally fully recovered from surgery was a big hit on my body. Still been going through a lot of ups and downs of both my symptoms from COVID and the endometriosis surgery. And it was also kind of ironic. I had a big family reunion in the Humboldt County area towards the end of June, kind of right before my contract ended. So I was working from my grandpa's house and visiting family in the area, and then drove home that weekend and then had my last day of work on a Monday. So it's been kind of this strange feeling of summer vacation almost. I haven't necessarily been feeling at my best to totally make the most of it, but I've been trying, writing a ton, writing at a pace that I can't even keep up with. You can probably tell I've been catching up on just posting more often, editing some vlogs here and there, trying to be a little bit more consistent with social media. That's something I really enjoy. It just is so much more time consuming than I always think it's going to be. One thing I really want to work on is getting my videos on YouTube more regularly, because I used to post on TikTok and then go straight over to YouTube and post it. I kind of stopped doing that a while ago, and as I've picked it back up, I've started learning how to do thumbnails on Canva. When I was a kid, I was a scrapbooking girly, okay? So I absolutely love that stuff. I could spend hours on it. In fact, I did spend hours on one thumbnail, and that's not sustainable long term. In the past few weeks, I've added a couple other songs in Logic that I've been working on getting more fleshed out. I even spent a whole afternoon learning a little bit more about guitar music theory, which is definitely a weak spot for me that I would like to strengthen. It doesn't come naturally to me, and when I do feel like practicing, it's not always the thing that I want to practice, but it's definitely something that's on my radar, and once I have the energy, I think it would be really cool to get maybe back into some lessons or take an online course or something. For now, it's kind of enough, what I know is enough to facilitate my writing, and that's kind of the main reason that I got back into guitar, was because I started writing. A lot of my guitar playing revolves around what feels interesting for me to write at the time, or what new song I'm excited about learning. I can strum along. I'm not super advanced or technically skilled on guitar. I can get by with few chords. It can be a little frustrating to feel a little bit of a jack of all trades, the music thing, and being my own marketing team and doing a lot of the creative songwriting aspects, and learning software, and now doing open mics where I'm getting used to performing and being on stage. I didn't even know how to change the battery on my acoustic electric guitar because I had never really used it to play live before. I think maybe once when I was in high school. When the battery died at open mic night, I went to the wrong compartment to change the battery. Took my guitar into the music shop today to get it fixed because I screwed it all up. Even the more experienced I get, just constantly feeling like a beginner, all the different facets of my work that roll into me being an artist. And in some ways, I think that's a beautiful thing, because it means that I'm always learning something new. I'm always pushing myself. I'm always trying to do better. I know it's helped me grow as a person. So yeah, those are the updates. Like, as we speak, I'm very much caught up with the husky life and walking 4 times a day. Best shape I've been in this year. In between walks and running errands and medical stuff, this is the update on all the different stuff I'm doing behind the scenes. So stoked to get some music in your hands on streaming. It's just, it's something I've wanted to do for a long time now. Just need some time to cook. In the meantime, I'm working on other music, so if this album ends up taking a super long time, who knows, there might be some singles, there might be an EP coming in the meantime. I won't promise anything, but I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on all the details. I don't know if you can tell that like the sunset while I was talking. It's kind of dark in here now. So yeah, it's been kind of crazy, but like there's just so much to be grateful for, and I'm surrounded by such an awesome group of people and feeling more community oriented than ever, especially since I started this TikTok account. I was just writing in my room just for me and kind of putting it out into the void, and not only am I more connected to my local music scene now, but I feel privileged to feel connected to you guys and see so many returning familiar faces. Thank you for being so kind and supportive of something that brings me so much joy, has helped me heal, and is kind of the reason I get up in the morning. So I hope you have the best day. I'm gonna go watch the season finale of We Were Liars, and then I'm gonna watch the next couple episodes of The Summer I Turned Pretty. I will see you guys very soon. Okay, bye.